All right, let's have a look at the markets. We've had a positive day today so far. I am no, I'm not. I'm not convinced about. I'm not convinced of these buyers. Did I say that right? Of these buyers or on these buyers? I'm not convinced on these buyers. I think it's on. Yeah, these buyers. It's they've made progress. Things are good, but this leg right here is very, very weak. It's very weak. Plus, there's right there. I think it's there. Might have been there. There's a gap that I think will be filled. Let's go on to. I think we can see it better. Nope, not this one. We can see it better on one of these markets. There we go. Yeah, I'm not convinced about these buyers. One, these buyers moved up very weakly. Two, this gap here. Something about gaps makes me think, especially when it's a gap either at the start or the end of the day. In this case, this gap was from markets opening or from upon the weekend or after the weekend. But besides the gap, it's taken all of this time, all of these buyers, just about beat this high. So it's taken this length of time to reach this high. Makes me not trust the buy at all. It would have been nice if this had been caught from here and all of that were ridden upwards. But it's not something I like. I don't like the sight of it at all. Because weak going up makes me believe this guy is at some point going to slam it back down. Absolutely past this level. There's no absolute in reading the market. But this I am fairly confident about. Let's have a look at Germany. Same thing. Just about beating the high. But it's taken all this time to do so. If these buyers were really going to make progress, they wouldn't have gone up in this manner. They would have gone up in this manner, similar to what they did down here. They came up in a very strong manner. This is just too weak for my liking, which makes me believe that we're going for another drop. And I just want to have another look at all markets. So it seems this guy, when he launches downwards, is going to be looking to break this low. This is not a strong low at all. So when the sellers, I don't think it's going to happen now. I think it's going to be several hours, maybe when UK awake tomorrow, or they can just hang about here for a bit. There's a news announcement, I believe, on there's a news announcement on Wednesday, I believe, in the UK. So this might just hover around this area for some time. But when it does break, it's going to break hard, quick and hard. So this guy is definitely going to beat this length of travel. I think this could be the launch that not only breaks this level, but potentially breaks this level as well. I think it's going to, at the very least, reach it and come crashing down. That's what I'm seeing right now. And on this time frame, the 4 hourly, we're seeing strong, weaker, I should say, than the previous one. I envision maybe something like this, another push up, and I want to start seeing signs of sellers. So with these buyers going up, it now seems almost certain that this right now isn't going to continue to go up to reach the 7200 level. It's not strong enough, which makes me think the sellers are going to push this down before the buyers can push it up, if they're going to reach the 7200 level. So I think at some point here, when prices come back up, we're going to see things roll over and drop, beating this level, and potentially this level, or at the very least reaching this level, this secondary level here. I think the buyers, so these guys down here that pushed it up, made this move up, but in a very weak way. So when prices come down and beat this level, I think potentially these same guys will push it up one more time, but it all depends on how the sellers come down, because I think they're going to be in a rush, right? And this level, I don't believe it's going to hold, depending on the way the sellers come down. It's a bit too early to say, but I'm anticipating that they don't hold, these buys don't hold. So price is just going to come crashing all the way down, because I no longer believe this level is the level that buyers are going to long day. I no longer believe the buyers are able to travel from this level. I think we'll be looking at another level. So when prices come down, yeah, buyers aren't going to do anything from here again, I don't believe. Let me quickly have another look at these markets. Yeah, same thing. Because originally, last week at some point when this happened, I was anticipating, yes, they're going to travel and travel hard, but they stopped here. If they were really strong, although they started strong, if they were very strong, they won't have stopped here. There's not much. These guys, these sellers, remember, were weak. So these guys were weak compared to these guys, supposedly weak. Let me say that another way. If these buyers were very strong, and at that point, right, before we had all of these data, at this point, when we saw that, when that came up, at this point, when all of that came up, let me see if I can draw that better. Oops, keep on curving it. Okay, so at this point, when this came up, it looked as though the buyers were here and were going to go far, travel, right? And at that point, they were stronger than these sellers, or seemed stronger than these sellers. If they were, why did they stop here? Why didn't they just go straight through? it means on this time frame they weren't actually, or they aren't actually that strong. On the lower time frame, they're strong. So you can see on the lower time frame, it's more like this push down and then this push up, right? Breaking this level, and even this level on a lower time frame. But on this time frame, they didn't break the important level out of all of these, which is this guy who started this last leg, this last push down. So it means they're not that strong. And remember, this guy is not that strong because it came down in a weak manner compared to the previous leg down. So I think when prices come down, these guys aren't going to hold this level. Which is why it's always good to let the sellers fade and see the buyers come in, right? It's always nice to see two things. One, have the sellers fade, which they did compared to the previous leg. So that was one check. The second check was buyers coming in, which they did. But they weren't able to beat this level. That's the concern. Which makes me think, no, the sellers are not done. Not only are the sellers not done, the buyers are not strong. This guy is not strong enough to take out this guy who came down in a seemingly weak manner. So it lets me know that perhaps, just perhaps, let me clear all of this up. Just perhaps these guys, although seemed weak, were weak because they were taking their foot off the gas to let buyers come in so that they can sell harder. That's what I now believe. Which again makes sense, especially on this market, because this is an area of importance, right? So it made sense why when they made this leg down, they were taking profit. So push down, take profit, push down, take profit. All of this was because they know that buyers are sitting here, and at the time they didn't know how strong the buyers were, so they were banking their profit. When buyers came up, they're now looking at this as, this is actually a good opportunity, because now we have some buyers who seemingly are strong that we can again sell to, which makes this area a lot more important, because these buyers here, when prices come down again, there's going to be two ways that people will look at this. One is that, let me clear this up. What's happening? Okay, there we go. One is that these buyers will say, okay, prices have come back to this level. When I say this level, I mean this range, right? They'll say prices have come down. It's another opportunity to buy. And they will buy. But sellers will look at this and say, we have buyers to sell to. We have buyers to sell to. Interesting. I'm thinking they'll look at this area and say, we have people down here who want to buy, And once they buy, if this level is broken, it's going to fly downwards. Because if they're interested in buying again at this level, but the buy doesn't work, they'll quickly stop buying, which will make prices drop even more. Or potentially, another way to look at it is that these guys who bought anywhere from here all the way up here will have their stop within this range. So when prices come crashing down, all their stops will be triggered, which will make prices drop even stronger. That's what I'm thinking now. It all depends. I'm seeing signs that this slowdown is not actually a slowdown in order for things to turn. Instead, I'm going to have another push down which is stronger, because the sellers are not done. They're still in control. I thought the buyers were in control here, or were going to take control, but they haven't. In fact, on this time frame, it's not actually, I was looking at this level on the hourly, right? But on this time frame, it's actually like this. These guys are going to have to beat those guys up there. So actually, on this time frame, it's all of these guys versus this guy who hasn't even reached this level and doesn't seem, well, seems to be struggling to reach that level already. So I'm thinking somewhere here, we're gonna have a reaction for sellers to go down one more leg, and that leg potentially being stronger than this leg. And if that is the case, then we'll have to look at the leg after that, which again will mean that this level is going to be breached. I think this is the next level down. So these buyers that have come in, they don't faze me. Now on this market, they have reached this level, okay, but have slowed down at this level. Weren't able to go past it. They were turned back and are making another attempt. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens up here, how the sellers react and how the buyers respond to that reaction. But based on what I've seen so far, certainly based on this, I think absolutely this level is going to be breached, and this is the level that potentially buyers can react from again. Plus, let's not forget that gap somewhere, which I think will be filled. So let me see if I can find that gap again. There we go. Yeah. think that gap will be filled. Yeah, these buyers don't convince me. I think we're going down for another leg, essentially. Another leg that breaks this low. So once this is broken, I'll reassess and see whether, oops, I don't want to do that. I'll reassess and see whether buyers down this level can make this sort of push up. Perhaps they can, but right now, I'm not so sure. I'm not so convinced, but we shall see. I will leave it there for now. I'll have more videos throughout the week. All right, bye for now.